Welcome to Brand Restrat, where I hit the Restrat button on branding. And welcome to episode 6 of the series where I unlock new rules of branding one chapter at a time based on my book, Building Brands in a Suddenly Changed World. This episode is based on the chapter titled Millennials and Gen Z at Loggerheads. The reason why I felt the need to talk about this subject and to start a conversation around this is because I came across a couple of reports online published by consultancies which clubbed Gen Zs and millennials together, perhaps because of the closeness in age between these two cohorts. But I thought that it didn't make sense because despite the closeness in age, they are a whole galaxy apart from each other. And that needs to be acknowledged in our endeavor to understand the Gen Z cohort. Since the last at least 7-8 years, a lot of clients are trying to appeal to the Gen Z audience, be it financial products, be it jewelry brands. There's this requirement to appeal to this Gen Z mindset and Gen Z person who we look at as this alien creature that nobody seems to understand. Let's try to understand them. First, by acknowledging how different their reality is. So, millennials are people born in the early 80s to the mid 90s. I was born in the early 80s. The impact of the pre digital era is very, very deep set in us, in the millennials. What was the pre digital era like? The cost of every era was very high. You couldn't just go back and iterate something you published in the public forum with the click of a few buttons, like when you post something on social media. Your reputation solely depended on the people that you interact with and what they spoke. You had very little control over the narrative about you. Opportunities were very little. Information was very little. This explains the overall scarcity mindset that dominated our way of operating. And this is why millennials can relate more to their parents than they can to the average Gen Z person. So, what I have done in this book is that I have illustrated this difference between the Gen Z and millennial mindset through 5 different facets. One, of course, being careers. Gen Z people are more carefree and more empowered in their attitudes towards their workplaces in terms of demanding or setting their boundaries, demanding their rights, not allowing for exploitation in terms of salary, in terms of time, in terms of personal space. They do this simply because they can afford to. And we millennials did not do this. Millennials and the generations prior did not do this primarily because we had no other option. But we love to glorify it as it was some sort of virtue and work ethic, which, let's face it, it really was not. It was us allowing ourselves to be exploited at the hands of the corporate setup. We gave up, sacrifice on our mental health, on our general health, on our families, on our relationships, just to be able to have a career and to sustain ourselves. And today people don't need to do that. So that is the reason why they don't. And we have to understand where they come from and adapt to that. Okay, that's with the regards to career. Also, with regards to marriage and relationships, I have noticed that Gen Zs have a very different attitude, and this reflects in the movies which were released in India, in Bollywood, in the mid 90s or earlier than that. Love marriage as a concept had to be in grave rebellion against your parents and against the establishment. Movies represented that. Movies like Dil Hai Ki Manta Nahi. Many movies of those times that come to mind. Gen Zs in the urban setup and in the movies today, they don't need to deal with that. Parents totally understand when your kids have a relationship, and that's the representation movies because it somewhere mirrors the ideologies of the urban young person as well looking to get married. So parents are no longer the enemy because parents have changed. Parents are also no longer the slave of social structures. I'm talking about a certain section of society that kind of drives narratives, social narratives, not the larger India, which is probably unchanged in many ways, yet changed in many ways as well, thanks to the same force that is impacting how everything works today, which is the internet and social media, which is accessible to everyone at a low cost. So yeah, so that's with marriage. Then there is attitudes towards mental health awareness, The Gen Z audience is a lot more comfortable confronting their own flaws, which our generation was just not conditioned to do, because the system then was that if I acknowledge my own flaw, that would mean that others would see my flaw. And if people saw me as flawed, then I was done for. Like I had no hope, I had no future. But that's not the way it is today. Today, truth is more virtuous, like just being true, to be, because that helps in better interpersonal exchanges. And for whatever it's worth, there's more awareness on mental health. There's also attitude towards life in general, the attitude, philosophy. So there are aspects that I've covered in this book. How does this impact branding? So when brands want to appeal to Gen Z, what can we do? We can read reports on how Gen Zs think and their attitudes and their opinions forever. But the point is that there's no better way than to actually listen to the Gen Z workforce that you have. Listen, not push them around, not bully them around, not dominate, but to listen to their narrative and let them have the reign while you also channelize it. So that collaboration between Gen Z and millennials, once they understand each other, is required to be able to serve our brands and clients who want to vibe with Gen Z audience better. Future proofing your brand would mean to learn how to vibe with Gen Z better. So that's what this chapter is about. If you disagree or you agree, please leave your comments below. It would be great to have a discussion. It would help me expand my mind, and these conversations are important to have for the industry. I hope you subscribe to the channel and you share it with people who may need to see it. The next chapter is going to be about smart fatigue. Everything is getting smart, right? And are we getting tired of this? That's what we will discuss in the next episode. Cheers.